And
TEAL.
You know what it is, man. You're locked into Third and Teal where they keep it real. And if you don't know, you're going to learn today. Third and Teal, baby, and I'm out. Let's go.
Third and Teal, baby, and I'm out. What's up? How y'all doing? How's it going? Eric, Trevor.
Yeah.
Got y'all back. What's up?
Yeah.
How you doing, Eric?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful, man. Wonderful. Ready to talk a little Jag football today.
Yes, sir.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Okay. And Trevor, how you doing, bro?
Oh, we doing great, man. We doing great. Football is being done. Things are happening. Shit's moving.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got my hats on
Robert.
back up. I feel good in here.
Robert already in the building.
Defense wins the day again.
So,
I've seen a lot of completed passes and I've seen a lot of pass PBUs. I think it's a little subjective. They're not posting every one of the reps, obviously. But from what we've seen, the defense does look to be flying to the ball a lot.
So my question, though, too, is like with Travis Hunter, right? Since this was the first day he played both sides of the football in practice, does he switch jerseys?
Yeah, no, he pulls his. He has. So what he did was he had his teal on over the white, and then he just pulled the teal off.
They should get him a reversible jersey or something. Like, you know,
I don't even know if they should do that. They should
out.
just get him. They should just get him his own color jersey. Because
like a goalkeeper in soccer.
Yeah, something like that. Like, I don't know. Because, bro, when we put pads on, you're not switching that shit out. You ain't doing that. It's hot. I'm just gonna hop over there. Like, no, we ain't doing all that. Just go ahead and get that man his own jersey.
The hard part is it can't be red because then that's quarterback. So, you know, you can't have that because you want people to still give him a little contact, you know. But it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting. This is definitely I don't want to say it's necessarily a first, but it is a first. Like there's never been a player that's expected to get the amount of reps on both sides of the ball that he is, where he could potentially be considered a starter both ways. You know, he's not just a gimmicky, flashy player who can play when you need to throw deep or do this or do that. Like he's actually expected to be potentially a starter on both sides of the football. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see how that plays out. For sure.
Yeah. The other interesting part would be seeing where would they try and limit his snaps at? Would it be on the offensive side or defensive side?
From all intents and sounds, they don't plan to.
You don't think so? They would. I think they would have to somewhere.
They don't sound like they plan to limit him. They just plan to
say, go out there and do what you do, huh? Hey. If it works.
I mean, yeah, if he can do it and it works.
Yeah,
it would work. I saw Tony Wiggins.
Some hardware. He's showing it.
Tony Wiggins made a comment that Trevor's not going to like. But he said, who's a player that you expect to get like the most benefit of Travis Hunter playing both ways?
Monteric
Brown. Because he can come in situational whenever he's got to go take a break. But he really said it more of like he could benefit the most if he takes advantage of the moment and really has, you know, he makes plays in those moments because he's not going to be out there as much. You know, because he is a guy that should not have been forced into the starting role as early as he did. You know, Monteric, he was all SEC. He was a good corner. The main thing with him is he's not as fast as a lot of those guys. But I mean, he was a great player in college. He was a 5th round pick for a reason, or 6th round, whatever he was. You know, like he wasn't supposed to come in and in his second season, you know, take 600 snaps after Tyson Campbell, another guy goes down. Like, you know,
he got thrown into it. Classic Jaguar.
It's gonna be interesting. Fashion. 2 years in a row he got thrown into it. And he played better the second year, but he really needs to play safety. But you know, we've had that conversation.
It's not that I think that he's the shittiest guy to ever walk the earth. I just know that the way we were using him, he is not meant to do that. He's not meant to do that because he cannot fucking do it worth a damn. So put him at safety where he doesn't have to run stride for stride with people every play. Right. I like that idea. I think that's a great idea.
That's a
But
hell of an idea.
Even at the very least, I should never, ever see A.J. Brown lined up across from Monterey Brown. Ever. Ever.
Oh,
It was straight
well,
bully ball, dude. He just said, "Bink." Like it was tragic. It really was. It's tragic. But no, they were talking about it though. I mean, honestly, I think we could have this conversation until we're blue in the face. But Travis has won the hardware. Travis has done enough to be like, well, damn it. Until I show you I can't do it, you should let me go out there and try to do it.
You know what's crazy though that I thought about?
that's not a bad argument. What you thought about?
So he played 99% of snaps basically in college.
Right.
And he played 1,400. There's at least 1,000 on both sides of the ball in the NFL. Because you got to think. It's including playoffs. It's almost double the length. You know, there's 7. Like we include from preseason, which of course he's not going to play like all preseason. You know, this isn't the last regime where the starters have to earn it in the preseason for some reason. But still, like, you know, they're like if we include preseason and playoffs, it's double the length of a college football schedule. So there's a chance, like if there's a chance he could play 1,800 to 2,200 snaps, depending on how much he plays.
Absolutely.
That's a lot for anybody. Yeah. But I do think that part of the thing that people aren't understanding is the NFL plays slower than college. Liam Cohen likes his 2 and 3 tight end sets as well. So there are going to be opportunities where it'll be just BTJ on the field and 3 tight ends and 2 a running back and a fullback or two big backs. Like he's going to get spelled. There are going to be times on offense. There's going to be times on defense whenever he is not out there 100% of the time, because we're going to have packages that are going to be big packages, and he does not fit into a big package unless we have, 2 wide receivers and 1 back. I mean, okay, sure. But, it's not going to be a situation where he's out there every single play of every single game just because he's playing 100% of offensive snaps. And like the spread doesn't mean he's playing 100% of offensive snaps total. So,
right. And I think that should be exactly what we expect.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing that really should be talked about, though, is not even so much Travis Hunter's alignment, is Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne took plays today with the 2s.
I will say too, though, you kind of have to rotate him and Tank at 1. You can't. Gone are the days where Travis Etienne is just far and away the best running back on the roster. It's 1A and 1B, and Etienne, depending on what day it is, he might be 1B, and he might be 1A. Cohen has talked very highly of Etienne. He said he's done everything he's asked him to do. That all the rumors about him getting moved on were fake. Of course, when you get asked about a guy by the media, you kind of have to say that. But still, they have been using him a lot in practice. But I don't think him taking reps with the 2s is anything that we should be worried about. Because you have to give Tank reps with the 1s. He's too good to just take reps with the 2s all the time. He's going to be your He's going to be your third down back, or not third down. Sorry, he's going to be your short yardage back. If you want to run, you need to get 2 yards. You're putting him out there. So they're just going to continue to rotate those guys. What do you say, Eric? What you got?
I say it depends on how well Tootin develops between the training camp and the start of the season.
Tootin ain't pushing them for them by the start of the season.
I don't know. If he, with the speed he has, it's possible he gets some playing time. I'm not saying pushing him for a starting spot, but for playing time in itself. And somebody's gonna have to give it up.
He might push him for some playing time, like some D'Ernest Johnson type playing time. But I was gonna say I don't think he's pushing them for any more than that yet.
I think.
What's going on, Cedric?
Oh, Cedric is back.
Damn right they are. They look mean out there.
I don't know.
I think we kind of like
more to D'Ernest Johnson.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in a situation where it's kind of like the Browns back when they had those guys, where you have like Nick Chubb, you have Kareem Hunt, and you have D'Ernest Johnson. But really, we have 2 Kareem Hunts. We don't have a Nick Chubb on the roster right now, I don't think. After watching Tank play last year, he could potentially be if you give him those reps. I do think he has the opportunity to be because Chubb's a little faster. But Tank, he has good contact balance. He has a great jump cut, good vision. But right now, I think we have 2 Kareem Hunts and a Dearness Johnson, not like they have, where it's Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Dearness Johnson. Where like you have to give Chubb 15 to 20 carries a game. Like right now, I mean, ETN might get 10 to 15, Tank might get 10 to 15, and Tootin might get 5 to 10. It's going to be interesting.
Just depends on how the flow of the game is going, probably, and the defensive alignments. Yeah, I can see that happening. So yeah.
I mean, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting for sure. I think once pads get on, though, we'll start to see who's going to start moving and getting through.
That part right there. That part right there.
Because like Robert just said, no pads right now, and then they haven't seen ETN pass block or be physical. Unless he worked on that on the offseason, I mean, or unless these new coaches come in and really teach a great, footwork and great blocking technique, and he can really grasp it.
Realistically, him nor Tank could block worth a damn last year. They ain't blocking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Tank is great either. I'm just saying.
I'm saying I hope that they come in and they do that.
Well, somebody need to teach some technique, because their technique sucked. I mean, right. I watched one game when he just got blown up. I'm like, what are you doing? That's a linebacker you running up against. Cedric, you just can't run up against them like that.
You absolutely right, Cedric. But I don't even think that's what we really need. We need this guy for the whole year.
That's what we need. I agree.
Yeah, we need to keep him upright.
We need to keep this guy on his feet. We keep this guy on his feet.
And our receivers to catch the freaking ball.
Yeah, we fixed that problem, man. I got faith in that. We fixed that problem.
Okay, we fixed it for right now.
I think we did. Different. I'll say this, okay? So like Diami Brown, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Career-wise, I'm not a fan of him. He hasn't really done shit outside of the playoffs last year. Okay?
Right. Okay.
But you know what I do love? I love that Trevor said – I love exactly what Trevor said in his press conference today. I watched it just a little bit ago. He said Diami's gotten the ball a lot because he always seems to be in the right spot. He knows exactly where to sit in the coverages. He knows exactly where to break down his zone. He breaks well, deep threat because he's got good takeoff speed. And Diami will catch the ball. We know Travis Hunter's going to catch the ball. That dude's ball skills are unmatched. And BTJ's just him.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Trevor. I just remember last year when he said the same thing about Gabe Davis.
I hate
how that turned out. So yeah, but I hope he's right though. I hope
you know what sucks though. Trevor was right though. Gabe Davis always was in the right spot. He just couldn't catch the fucking ball. That's what was so frustrating about him. He was clearly in the right spot. He dropped 4 touchdowns last year. You had to be in the right spot to get the opportunity to get them.
That's true.
I think so. He knows how to find it.
Yeah, I mean, I think something that people tend to forget about Diami Brown as well, though, is like Diami Brown was drafted in the 3rd round.
Yep.
He had a draft prospect grade of a 6.19, which is right at will be an above average backup to potentially a starter, or in the will be eventually be an above average starter.
He's a developmental player.
He was a developmental player, but the problem is they already had Scary Terry, and then they start drafting these other dudes and bringing other guys in to be over him. Curtis Samuel and all this different stuff, and I just don't think he got the shot that he needed to. You know what I mean? There are a lot of guys in the NFL. I mean, you got to think there's 3,600 guys between free agency and rosters, on any given day. And, over the years, how many guys get buried on rosters and then go somewhere else and actually play, if not really good, I mean, they just play decent, at least they're good. It's like he could be one of those guys where he's not buried on the roster anymore. He is supposed to be. Yeah, Gabe Davis doesn't run a 4.32 either.
You're right about that, Cedric. You're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the opportunity to be a number 2/3, number 3, depending on the package, depending on what we're doing. We'll see. I mean, I think he was a highly touted prospect coming out, and he just, he got buried over there with players that I don't really necessarily.
Moment of silence. Went ahead and retired it today.
Oh, Ingram.
Sorry, what?
Ingram's jersey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Moment of silence. RIP. We're gonna miss you. Easy E, baby. I'm still gonna miss him. Don't care.
Did
But I
y'all
love
see the
Brendan.
article? Did y'all see the article today that finally admitted that Miles Jack wasn't down?
Oh no, you mean the article where Tom Coughlin revealed that the NFL sent an apology letter and he never fucking told us? Is that what you mean? Is that the article that you're talking about?
That is the article I'm talking about right there.
The NFL tells on itself a lot.
It does.
Like, come on, man. Like, you're just admitting that the league is, to an extent, is rigged. That's all you're admitting by sending that.
Yeah, look, there's no script, okay? There is no game-by-game script. But is there definitely a narrative, like a general overall narrative that the league will do what it can to influence and push? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you don't believe that, you're retarded. Because the Saints, first of all, the Saints got fucked twice in a row those last few years that they had Breeze. They got fucked twice on blatant stuff, dude. Blatant. Miles Jack was one of the most blatant bullshits I've ever seen. AJ Bouye, no pass interferences the whole fucking season. Almost 200 yards worth of pass interference yards in the second half.
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Yep. And that defenseless receiver call when Barry Church hit Gronk. Yeah, they hadn't got past our 50 all game, and then all of a sudden going into halftime or right after halftime, I can't remember which one. They got 52 yards of penalties and then scored. Like, come on. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. We'll talk all night about that. But really, NFL, stop telling on yourself. If you're gonna rig shit, just do it in the dark and leave it there.
Leave it there.
You don't send apology letters. But I just wanted some settlement. Give me some settlement, NFL. Thank you for admitting it. Now give me a settlement for Miles Jack. Y'all calling him down and imploding my franchise.
Actually, I was about to
winning
say,
heals all.
We blew everything up after that because of you.
Yep. Winning heals all. If you just let us win that, nobody leaves. That's at least that's how I'm going to say it. They probably still do, but I don't care. I'm saying
I don't think so.
No,
I think we won that. I think we win that Super Bowl too.
I do. Oh fuck yeah! That was one of the weakest games in recent.
That was one against the Rams, right?
No, they went on to play the Eagles that year.
Is that the Eagles year? 2017. Yep. Yeah.
They went on to play the Eagles, and that was one of the weakest games.
Yeah, they had 8 Foles lunch out there.
Dead at Foles, that Philly special my ass. Philly special my ass.
Yeah, Philly wouldn't be feeling special right now if we had that game.
And Doug Peterson would have never been our head coach.
Oh, a man can dream.
I'll tell you that because hey, you ain't got no Super Bowl winning resume then because the Jacksonville Jaguars are Super Bowl champions.
Hindsight.
Yep.
Yeah. But now we know. Now we know.
We know that he wasn't down.
Ain't did us worth of crap, but now we know.
But all that pain and suffering, man. But anyways,
I saw an interesting thing the other day. The Rich Eisen show put it out, and I think it was a good question. Who do you think's under more pressure to win a playoff game this year, Kyler Murray or Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence.
Why? Trevor done won one already.
Yeah, I was about to say, for me, it's Kyler. It's definitely Kyler. You're going into your third year now in the same system. They've done nothing but build around you. I'm not saying that it's a great team by any means, but they've done what they've been progressively building around you. You've got your weapon. The second year, you had almost a whole year with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and was one fumble away from taking down Kansas City. So yeah, Trevor. I don't think the pressure's on Trevor as much as it is Kyler Murray. That's not to say that there's no pressure on Trevor either, and that's just to stay healthy and make it through a whole season. I think that's more of the pressure than anything, because of the weapons that they have placed around him, put on the team now.
Cedric,
need him to be there a whole year.
I don't know that they tried to go through Gabe Davis as a wide receiver one. I think what you saw Gabe Davis get the one style targets, but I think that's because, like we were saying all offseason, you've got to have someone to pull that attention off of BT. Because if he's the only one that really scares the defense, everyone else is going to look like a wide receiver one because they're the only ones that are going to be open to get a ball. I mean, that's just how it's going to go. And teams started double teaming Brian, the third week into the season? He popped one off, and they were like, oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Sorry, we were not familiar with your game. and they started shading that safety over towards him all the time. And
See, having Diami Brown is also going to help Parker Washington, I believe, help him get open also. I really do believe that because Parker a beast anyway, but
Parker's
I
a
think
dog.
it's going to help him because before last year, if it wasn't BTJ when Parker was in, they went to Parker a lot, so you can't double him either. Then, so
I think
it
I
should be
think
an
what you'll see
interesting
with
receiver
Parker.
for him.
I think what's going to be what we get from Parker is going to depend on how often we see Travis.
True.
Because Travis is going to take Parker's spot there. I mean, there's no debating that.
Also plays, yes, I can see that.
No, I mean, for the most part, they want Diami to play the outside on the other side. They've already made that clear. They want to be the other stretch the field threat. So does that put Parker at kick returner in? No, well, maybe, but honestly, if I'm being honest, I would rather see Travis try to play the outside spot with a Parker set at slot also, because Travis got a lot of work from the outside at Colorado also, and he's a dog out there too. Like, he just goes up and clowns people, man. So, I mean, realistically,
I'll be all right with that. I would be all right with that. Yeah,
because Parker deserves playtime, man.
Without a doubt.
He does. And I don't think it should come at the expense of whether Travis Hunter can play full-time offense or not. I don't think that should be what the variable is. But if Diami Brown is wide receiver 2 to that outside, then yeah. See, Rob, you're absolutely right. But like also at the time too, they're throwing the horn over there. Like that's a different set than what we've got here. But it's tough because they've already made clear that they like Diami's ability to stretch the field from that other outside position. Like, that's kind of what they were looking at him for. He did expand today, though. Liam Cohen himself did. He expanded on kind of like what we brought him in for and how we wanted to expand his route tree, what we were looking to do with him, the things we want him to do. So who knows? I don't know. I think it just depends. It'll depend on two things, really. Whether they stick to that original belief of Diami being the other outside, BT Diami, and then whether or not Travis is full-time or not. I think that's what's going to make or break Parker Washington's playtime, which that really sucks, though, because Parker is underrated as hell in that mid-level game. But you know what, though? Another thing I didn't even think about, I guess, another thing that Liam Cohen said today was you've seen Diami Brown really excelling at that mid-level game throughout OTAs because Trevor's finding him pretty easily. The defense is locking in on Travis and on Brian. Diami's just coming through the middle. This is what we needed, though. This is exactly what we needed, an effective trio. Like, everybody's like, last year, you could have got the ball to this person or that person or this person. Bro, we had Brian Thomas Jr. I'll wait. And then we finally brought in Parker. Okay, so now we got Parker. Okay, so that's it. And then if you want to throw in the tight ends, Britton and Ingram were obviously targets, but Christian Kirk was hurt the whole fucking time for the most part.
True.
And even then, Christian Kirk's lost a step. I love him, but he lost a step.
Let's see. Thank goodness we hired Liam. I got a feeling he's like the Steve Spurrier of his offense. Anyone that can make Will Levis a high draft pick deserves my attention. That's what Cedric says.
That's absolutely right. Something else that he said today, Liam Cohen was talking about how our offense is going to have a lot of motions, a lot of 2 and even 3 play sets, like 3 play calls. Like, it's a very complex offense.
Which is good. Because it helps Trevor out. It helps Trevor.
It gives Trevor options. Yeah.
Yes. Because somewhere in that motion, the defense is going to declare.
And he said that. He said that Trevor's been moving really well in the mental side, like really well. And that's another thing too, man. Like, people that are hating on Trevor right now. Trevor stopped throwing December of last year.
Man, you know, people gonna be people. They're gonna hate because he's Trevor and he plays for Jacksonville. Let's be honest. That's what it is. He's Trevor Lawrence and he plays for Jacksonville. That's the issue. But you know what? Screw him. Screw him. Trevor's gonna prove him wrong like he's been doing. So,
Trevor's him.
well, yeah.
Trevor's him.
It is
I'll
okay.
tell you
It's
though,
all right.
Trevor did come out, talk about his compression sleeve. He's just sore. But you'll have that even if he wasn't coming back from a surgery.
Yeah.
You take time off. You don't throw for a while. Recuperate. Get back to throwing a heavy amount.
Exactly.
I mean, that's normal. It is. I'll tell you, I mean, it's hard really to stretch too much to talk about like what we're seeing right now because pads aren't on. I think what we really need to wait and see is what's going to happen with this offensive line. That's the question mark. That's all. And there's no way we can know that until pads come on.
God dang it. Wasn't that the question mark last year?
Yep.
Going into training camp.
I think it's a little bit different of a question mark, though, this year.
This year.
At least we did something.
Right.
At least it's not the same 5 guys we went into camp with the year before, and we're just hoping that it's going to be better, and also, too, like I noticed somebody posted it earlier. We had – let me see if I can find it really quick.
The 11 Jaguars in the top 32.
Yeah, we had 11 Jaguars in the top 32.
And 2 of our newly acquired linemen are on that list.
Yep. I think the center, Robert Hainsey, was number 23 for linemen. And then Mercari was number 28 out of 32, I believe. Or, sorry, out of 64, not 32, because it's based on they do it by line position. So it's center, guards, and tackles all together. And Mr. Not Good Enough himself was ranked number 32 out of 64 tackles.
Don't care. Man, hopefully he gets better with some better support around him. I'll just go there. Maybe I hope to God that happens. And honestly, to be real though, like I said, I've said before, we haven't done him any favors. So hopefully we do. Hopefully we do.
Apparently, and I want to touch on this really quick. Travis Hunter is apparently being named as a dark horse MVP candidate.
I've seen this a few times, but
so now again, the NFL likes ratings. The NFL likes whatever. Okay. A rookie's not going to win the MVP. I couldn't tell you the last time a rookie won the MVP.
For him to win the MVP, we would definitely have to win the Super Bowl.
And he would have to be the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Well, so what I'm thinking, he's not going to win the MVP. Even if he gets 1,000 yards receiving and 15 touchdowns and he has like 6 picks on the defense, but he could be the first player to win Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year to try and bolster a little excitement. No, Travis Hunter.
They'll do that because they're riding the shit out of this.
If he plays a lot on both sides this year, he could have 800 yards on offense, 6-7 touchdowns, and then has 3 or 4 picks on defense. They'll give him both, just to give him both. I can see that. It's going to be very interesting.
Cedric, you are absolutely right.
Yeah, the Bengals are absolutely fucking that situation.
It is
because they're trying to take away the man's guarantees, man.
Most of the time it's like any guaranteed, there's certain guarantees you can take away normally. I can't remember what it was exactly, but they're trying to take away his entire contract if he doesn't make weight or do this or do that. And Shamar Stewart's over here hey, y'all are just mad that I had my person when I had my guy read the fucking contract. Mm-hmm. He's and also I'm not asking for anything that any other draft pick from the Bengals in the history of the Bengals.
I was just about to say that. I'm glad that he actually read the contract because he would have fucked every rookie in the future because that sets the precedent.
Zach Taylor,
exactly.
head coach Zach Taylor said that he thinks the players are getting smarter about it, and he's glad to see it. He's on Shamar Stewart's side. So that means
He
one of
should
two
be.
things. Zach Taylor's out the door after this year, or they're going to quit fucking around and they're going to give Shamar Stewart his contract. And because it's not him, of course, it's the GM and the owner. Really, it's the owner. The owner's always been cheap. You gotta pay your pretty ponies with Burrow and and Jamar Chase, and they never should have signed T. Higgins to that much money. They should have let Higgins walk and signed Trey Hendrickson and said, hey, we actually do want to pay our defensive players. We're not just going to draft guys to replace you and bring in free agents for cheap. Like T. Higgins is good, but it's about time you get someone else in there and actually pay your defenders. And if you're going to screw a rookie like this, what veteran's going to want to come there? In the future. You're fucking people's contracts up. You don't want to pay them. You don't want to pay them the money that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? Like who's going to want to play for you?
Damn good question.
Yeah, they're shooting
And the answer is no one.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody. I wouldn't.
Doesn't matter how good Joe Burrow is. You're going to start paying the Cincinnati tax.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
I mean, don't preach to the play. The two wide receivers and the quarterback? Basically, that's it. Yeah, because you let Joe Mixon walk.
Yep.
Let him go.
No good tight end. What I said they should have done, I was talking about this yesterday or the day before. They should have let T. Higgins walk and drafted one of those two tight ends, Colson Loveland or Tyler Warren. They should have traded up and drafted one of them and given Joe Burrow an actual tight end instead of giving him patchwork. Because you can draft a wide receiver too, or you can sign one in free agency that doesn't cost nearly as much as T. Higgins. You got Jamar Chase. I mean, arguably Jamar Chase is the best field stretching 50-50 ball catcher in the league right now.
He's the best receiver in the league.
I think he's better. I think he's better than Justin Jefferson. But
he is. He was better than Justin Jefferson at LSU. People just want to argue it till they're blue in the face.
But my thing is give him a real, and that's something that, and I'm tying this in. I promise. That's something I'm excited about with Jacksonville though. Is we let Ridley go, right? You bring in Brian Thomas Jr. He is far and away the number one. We bring in Travis Hunter to help him out. We bring in Danny Brown for $10 million. We got Parker Washington still on the roster. We got Travis Etienne still. Now we got, hopefully, a tight end one in Brenton Strange. I think he can be. I think Brenton Strange is going to be a great player out there.
I know he can
but
be.
We paid Josh Allen. Okay. We kept Tyson. We'll see about that one. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
we're drafting our players, Jari and Jones. We got Travis who could play both ways. The contracts are being signed. We're giving people their money. We could have gone that route. We could have signed Ridley and still drafted Thomas. And
that was our route in years past. That's so good.
We're spreading some love around. Now, the last regime, right on the way out, they did some of that. I'm not gonna say they didn't do anything. But this new regime, they have a good groundwork to be on. And we're gonna have to see what they do with it. This offensive line, man, that's we'll see. I'm hoping.
Speaking of all this all around the league talk and other teams and diving off into a multiverse of content and other things that are going on, I've been telling you guys on the show, I've been saying it for months that we're gonna start a new series. I originally said it was going to be two guys in a team, but we've after some rehabbing and some questions and letting other people tell us how it looks and how we think. It's now. I did record the first episode of Talking Ball. The first episode's focused on the Philadelphia Eagles, our Super Bowl champions, whether we like it or not. Had the guest on. We did the show. We pulled it up. We've done everything we need to do. It's now. We're going to edit it, get a couple things exactly the way we want them. But that should be out soon. Look for it here on 3rd and Teal. And potentially across the CPN as a whole. So, I just figured I'd tell you guys that and let you guys know that it was a huge success. Huge success, I think. Even without seeing some of the numbers yet, it was already I love the way it turned out. I'll go ahead and show them this. They can see it. We got our own little scene. We brought live clips into the show. Everything you need is going to be right there. A centralized comparison, and it's going to be a way for all of the CPN to branch into all of those many lanes of content that we always want to talk about. So,
well,
there's that. But another thing that needs to be talked about off that topic.
Okay.
And I need to be the one to say this because I hate on him probably the most. Devin Lloyd is putting in a lot of work. I know it's only because he knows he's about to get his ass out of a job if he doesn't. But Liam Cohen said there are people coming in really early, and he actually went on to specifically name Devin Lloyd.
Yes, he did.
Devin Lloyd was always there early, always in the coach's office trying to learn and get better, which he needs to do. So I'm glad he's doing it. But, like, it's just good to know that, like, he's doing it.
Yep. He looked like he slimmed down a little bit too.
All of it. Well, I know him and Josh. Josh has both of them slimmed down.
That's the one thing we never touched on the show.
Yeah, they both slimmed down.
I mean, like, did we touch it?
We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I talked about it on CPN as well. Because, they had Josh up at 285. He normally plays around 260, 265. And so Trayvon was also up there too. You guys, thanks, Cedric.
Thank you, Cedric. Appreciate that.
Too, man.
We appreciate that, big
Robert. Robert always in our comments, man. Bring in good stuff.
Y'all always dropping some good stuff in there, man. Like, literally, between you and Robert alone, you've created enough content for episodes on episodes between the things that you guys have commented and the questions you guys have posed and the things that you propose.
Right.
Yes, sir. Well,
Yep.
Good little bow on there. A little wrap it up and tie it. What y'all got anything else while we head out?
Duval.
There it is. There it is. I think it's a good day. It's a new day in Jacksonville, and we just all got to sit back and just give a little Duval.
He had to.